Hey everyone, today we're going to be running new rigging through for the kicker motor. We're going to remount the kicker motor out here, and I got a plan for this, and I'll show you that. The problem I got here is this is what I want to use to have the rigging tube run my cables and the wires and all that other stuff. Problem is I got that hole, which is obviously too small for this. So in order to fix that, I got to drill this out. Okay, so what I intend to do, and I found this with another YouTuber, was to take a hole saw that is the size of this one and take the inside of it, inside of the piece of wood I cut, wrap it up in tape, put it in here so it'll fit, or it'll be nice and snug, and then take the actual size that I need with the drill bit in here, of course, and then re-drill this, and then we'll have our new hole that we need. It should fit very nicely. So, all right, here we go with it. Okay, so I made the hole, or I guess the bung in this case. So what I'm going to do is it's going to go in here like this, but I'm going to use some tape it up as much as I can to make up for the whatever's left of the space here, and then put it all in, and then I'll take the bigger hole saw, drill the bigger hole out, and then I'll have my new hole. All right, so we got our bung in there, and I use Gorilla Tape because that's pretty much just what I have laying around. There's like 3 or 4 wraps, and I think it was a little too much. Even trying to hammer it in was a little much, and you didn't want to go in. But anyway, I think she should be good enough. We have the drill, and I'm going to use this bigger drill because this is a lot bigger hole. And all right, committed at this point. Let's hope this goes well. Looks like this is going to be a problem, so I'm going to have to trim this off. All right, this transom is proving to be a lot thicker than I thought. I may not have the right hole saw to actually do this, and I'll have to go get one, and it's a little late tonight. That thing was kicking my butt. All right, we'll get to reevaluate. Stand by. All right, quick run to the hardware store, and $50 later we got ourselves a hole saw that should go all the way through. So I'm going to do this again. Take 2. And we're through. Look at that. Wow, that thing is thick. I did not think this hole saw or this transom was that thick. but she is. And I think I hit that wire. All right, good to go. All right, folks, we are back with the next day. And so last night I had to run to the hardware store, get a new hole saw. This guy, drill out the rest of this, because this is about 2 1/8 thick total. And the hole saw I had just wasn't deep enough, so I had to go get a new one. And I got the same size, however, this created a new issue to where this is a little too big for this guy. So, but that problem is going to create an opportunity, because I'm going to go ahead and just fiberglass the inside of all this, just using some of the cheaper fiberglass resin. Normally, if this was like a structural support, I'd probably go for the good stuff like the Total Boat or something similar to that, but since this won't be seen, it's just basically there to take up the rest of the real estate that's not there and waterproof it more. I'm just going to use this cheaper stuff, which this can was $25. I don't know really how cheap it really is. Anyway, we're going to get started with this, and it is cold out here. It's about low 40s, and I have the torpedo heater to help me out, speed this process along with drying. So, all right, here we go with it. Alright guys, looks like we're looking pretty good here. My heater here sped this process up, and that's been drying for probably about an hour or so, but it is still pretty cool out here. It's probably low 50s. So I'm going to let that finish setting up, and basically I'm going to take the oscillator tool and just cut around this to make it nice and flush and even, and then clean all this up and clean that up. And then we'll see if the part fits or not. And if it doesn't, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take more of the fiberglass and wrap it around enough to where it's going to have a nice snug fit in there, so I don't keep stuffing things in here. It'll be a lot easier to do it that way anyway. All right, but in the meantime, I am going to start rerouting the new throttle cables, because mine, as you can see here, are completely trashed. So got to get from here all the way up there. So I'm gonna go and time lapse that, and we're gonna get that done. right, so we got the new cables ran for the kicker here. Saw me do that, and we cleaned it up. The hole looks good. Unfortunately, it's still not enough stability for the that insert. So what I'm going to do is just take the insert and just fiberglass around it until it fits in there nicely. In the meantime, this rat's nest of wiring, I gotta sort through it, and I gotta figure out what goes to where so I can start organizing some of this stuff, because it is a mess, as you can see. I'm not really gonna film this because it's probably gonna take me a while, and it's quite frankly not really much to do other than be patient and go through it and see what's what. So, all right, we'll be back. Hi guys, we're back. It is now the following day again. Yesterday we put some fiberglass in here to get this thickened up, and I took the rigging hose attachment here and put some fiberglass around this, kind of thicken it up, and just got to put it on here. Try to do this two things at once. And he should be good to go. Big test fit of this. Well, you get the idea. So all we're gonna do now is get this tapped in, get some sealant and seal her up, and we'll get the rest of this thing mounted up and get going. All right, we got our little flange in. It took a little coaxing to get in, but I got it in, got it sealed up. Got our mount back on, or this bracket for the outboard itself. And of course, when you're working on all this stuff, nothing comes apart like you want it to. And when I got these bolts off, they broke, and I ended up having to drill them out. And as you can see, I didn't drill them straight because I don't have a drill press, and quite frankly, I didn't want to take it to somebody. So to remedy that situation, I got these stainless steel eye hooks that I'm going to put on the back end and go through here, and some other stainless steel hardware to button her up. That should do the trick. All right, got our bracket mounted back up. Put these on. I'm going to trim those off later. I'm going to wait. I probably could have taken this thing in and get powder coated again, but I ain't going to worry about it right now. Kind of least of my concerns at the moment. So before, we had pieces of plywood right here, and I really didn't want to put that back on, and so I saw an opportunity to get some of this stuff. I think this is, I don't know, it's hard plastic, polyethylene, propylene, I don't know what it is, but it's hard plastic. I cut it to about 1/2 inch, which it had started out like this, and so I had to take my table saw and cut down the middle of it and cut it to size, and I ended up with that. It made a big mess, but I was successful with it, and I didn't lose any of my fingers, so it's a positive thing. So basically what I'm going to do is just match it up, drill it, and then I'm going to take a torch, heat up the bolts, the ends of the bolts, so they settle in to the plastic and permanently mount to it, so I don't have to use washers on the other side. So that's what we're going to do. right, cool. That worked out well. All I'm going to do now is trim this piece off, trim those off, and trim these back off, and we'll go ahead and put the kicker back on. So I'll go ahead and do that, and then we'll put the kicker on. We got everything back on, the kicker anyway. All that's left to do now is connect the cables, connect the battery, and connect the switch here, or connect the main cable, and we should be good to go. Oh, and the fuel line. Got some new fuel line here, and we're gonna route something a little different because it's got to share with the main engine, and got a little bit different plan for that since got all the rigging cleaned up for the main engine, and as well as the wiring in the back here. It was quite a mess yesterday, and it took me a lot longer than I anticipated it taking to clean all that up. But I'll go ahead and connect everything, and I'll show you what it's supposed to look like after it's done. All right, kicker's on, and we got everything plugged in. That's what it's supposed to look like. I had to kind of go back into memory lane because I took this apart quite a while ago, not quite a year ago, but yeah, it looks a lot better than what it did. It's going to function a lot better than what it did too. So all we got to do now is put the cover on, and we're going to start focusing on the main engine and the wiring in this thing, and we'll be hopefully underway sometime in the near future. All right, well, thanks for watching.